In the underworld, he was called Red Shirt, a living legend among killers. But when he tried to walk away, they dragged him back in. What happens when the hunter becomes the hunted? The story begins with the most feared assassin in the world. Wherever he went, his white shirt always turned red, soaked in the blood of his enemies. His reputation was so terrifying, even other killers whispered his name in fear. But behind that ruthless mask was just a man named Chahak. And Chahak wanted something very simple, a normal life. After years of endless killing, he was tired. He wanted to retire, leave the bloodshed behind, and start a new life with the woman he loved, Miju, who was carrying their first child. For the first time in his life, Chahak dreamed of being more than a weapon. He dreamed of being a husband and a father. But the underworld doesn't forgive betrayal. Chahak never betrayed the underworld. His first boss gave him the right to leave anytime. Even his current boss knew, but refused to let him go. One night, Chahak confronted his boss. He looked him in the eye and said, "I don't have any grudges. I just want to retire." The killers sitting around laughed, knives in hand, eager to silence him forever. But to everyone's surprise, the boss simply raised his hand and said, "Let him go." It looked like freedom, but in reality, it was the beginning of his nightmare. Later that night, Chahak was riding a bus talking to his wife over the phone. Miju's voice was gentle, filled with hope. She told him the baby was healthy and moving, and they had already picked a name, Six. Chahak smiled, promising he'd be home soon. For the first time, he felt peace. But suddenly, a stranger stood up in the bus, pulling out a knife. He ordered everyone to bow their heads. This wasn't a robbery, it was a hit. The man lunged at Chahak, blade flashing. But with a single motion, Chahak twisted his arm, slammed him down, and disarmed him. The killer coughed blood, laughing bitterly. "You think you can quit? You'll never escape. Everyone's after you now." Chahak's eyes widened. His smile vanished. He immediately called Miju back, but the call didn't connect. At home, Miju was preparing dinner when a knock echoed at the door. "Who is it?" she asked. A cold voice replied, "I'm a colleague of your husband. I came to congratulate you on his retirement." Hesitant, Miju opened the door and a killer forced his way inside. She fell to the ground, terrified, clutching her stomach, but the blade pressed against her throat showed no mercy. By the time Chahak arrived, the door was broken. The house was silent. Blood stained the floor. His entire world destroyed. From the shadows, a senior assassin stepped forward, smirking. "So this is why you quit. A wife, a child. The chairman didn't approve, so we took care of it. Now, let's play a game." At that moment, Chahak's rage exploded. The room filled with killers. Blades slashed, bodies lunged. But Chahak wasn't just any man, he was Red Shirt, the legend. His movements were brutal and precise. Bones snapped, necks cracked, blood sprayed across the walls. Knives meant for him were twisted back into the hearts of his enemies. One by one, the killers fell screaming. The senior fought hardest, but Chahak's fury was unstoppable. He overwhelmed him, stabbing again and again until the man collapsed lifeless on the floor. Amidst the carnage, Chahak stood trembling. His hands shook, not from fear, but from grief. Flashes of memory burned in his mind. Miju's laughter, her smile when she told him about the baby, her hand resting gently on his cheek, now gone forever. When the news reached Li Gangwon, the chairman who ruled the underworld, he simply scoffed. Good. Dogs like him were never loyal anyway. But what he didn't realize was that by killing Miju and the baby, he hadn't just punished a traitor. He had created something far worse. A demon with nothing left to lose. Word spread like wildfire. Red Shirt is back. Whispers filled every dark corner of the underworld. Some thought it was a rumor. Others swore they had seen him, a man in a shirt drenched red, walking alone, leaving only corpses behind. Red Shirt begins his revenge. As we know, your enemy's enemy is your ally, and that's exactly where he starts. He goes to Lee Bongwon, the older brother of Chairman Lee Kwon-don. Years ago, Kwon-don stole his brother's position through violence, and to make sure Bongwon could never fight back, he had his leg cut off. Now Red Shirt says quietly, "Are you afraid? I'll take care of him." Bongwon warns him, "If you kill Kwon-don, the naval family will come for you." A random guy continuously disturbing Red Shirt during the conversation, so he made sure he would never disturb him again. Red Shirt shrugs, calm as a promise. "Don't worry about me. Back me, I'll take him out. You need to look out for yourself. After he's gone, you are the next successor of the company." Lee Bongwon laughing darkly. "They've awakened a demon," he says, and from that moment, a new dance of human slaughter begins. See shift. Cha Si-hak drives silently through the night. In his mirror, 3 cars are following. They are the Chairman Kwong's people. Inside those cars, a bunch of young killers argue about useless things. I don't know what kind of killer are they. In a crucial moment, they are arguing each other. "You guys done talking?" The eldest snaps. "Focus. We're not here to play. We're here for Red Shirt." But before they even realize it, Si-hak spins his car, engine roaring, and rams straight into them. Tires screech. Metal smashes. The other car swerves aside, barely avoiding a fatal crash. They surround Cha Si-hak's car. He steps out calm calm, steady, ice cold as death. The air turns heavy. No words, just tension. And then chaos explodes. Dozens of killers rush in, but the eldest warns, stay sharp. This man isn't human. He's Red Shirt. The three brothers charge. Seahawk moves like a beast. One punch sends a man flying. He ducks a knife, twists, and makes another kick his own brother. In one clean motion, he drives a blade into a back. Nice hit. The man gasps before falling. Seahawk grabs him by the throat and throws him aside like trash. His blood-red eyes lock on the remaining two. You came to hunt me, he says coldly. Then why are you shaking? The elder stammers, we can still fight. Then fight, Seahawk growls. Or die standing. They rush in together. One blade slices his thigh deep, blood sprays. Seahawk clenches his jaw, thinking, if I stay defensive, I'll die here. He shifts near an iron pillar, uses it like a weapon. Each move is precise, brutal. The eldest brother starts trembling, thinking he's lost everything. He doesn't even fear death. One brother lunges, misses. Seahawk smirks. He grabs the man's neck and plunges the knife into his gut, then his chest. Mercy, please, the last two beg. Mercy? Seahawk laughs. You came to kill me. Now you beg to live? Pick up those knives. If you want to survive, earn it. They obey. Both attack at once. Seahawk's blade flashes, 2 strikes, 2 bodies drop. The last one coughs blood. Guess, luck's not on our side. Seahawk wipes his knife, whispering, luck had nothing to do with it. They're pretty strong, but bad luck for you guys. Your opponent is Red Shirt. And yeah, a few seconds later, he kills them all. His white shirt now soaked completely red. The Red Shirt rises again. News spreads fast. 3 missions failed. 18 men dead. Red Shirt still missing. One agent reports. Then radio static. We found him. Where? Right in front of the building. Outside stands Cha Seahawk, the legend himself, staring straight at the company entrance. Team leader, he's here. Stay calm, says the leader. I'll talk to him myself. Seahawk walks forward slowly. No one dares move. Let him through. The head of security orders. That's an order. Guards step aside in fear. Then a man runs up. Mansu. Seahawk, please, don't do this. I'll fix it. I swear. Seahawk stops for a moment. Mansu, the clothes you brought for my kid, I gave them to my wife. She loved them. Thank you. But I've already chosen my path. Mansu lowers his head, trembling. Seahawk walks inside. Everyone stares as he steps into the elevator. Just before the doors close, a few agents rush in behind him. Seahawk looks at them and says quietly, I've got work to do, let's finish this quickly. The doors close. Seconds later, the sound of screams echoes through the hallway. And that was how Seahawk, the Red Shirt, made his silent entrance. This is just the beginning. Things are about to get really interesting from here. Chairman Li Guangwan, sitting quietly in his office. He leans back, eyes half closed, and asks, how's my older brother, Li Bongwan? His head of security replies carefully, we've confiscated all their weapons, sir. Everything's been handled at the seminar. But I heard Bongwan's man say he's on leave today. Still, I think he's involved somehow. Li Guangwan frowns. I don't want to get dragged into this mess, but I just don't understand why they're doing all this. The security chief hesitates, lowering his voice. Sir, people say Chasik is dangerous. Once he starts something, he never stops. A flashback begins. Li Guangwan's voice echoes through it. This was before I became chairman. We see Li Bongwan at a construction site. A man is tied to a chair, crying, begging. Bongwan picks up a hammer. He says nothing and swings. The hammer hits. The man drops lifeless. Bongwan wipes off the blood and says coldly, do your job right. No excuses. Young Guangwan stands nearby, frozen, horrified. Guangwan lowers his eyes and says, they'll cause trouble again, but this time, I'll handle it myself. Later that day, Li Guangwan and Chasik enter a dark meeting room. Chasik stands silently, his eyes scanning every corner. One man sneers, why are you here? Where's President Bongwan? Don't waste our time. Chasik doesn't speak. Another man slides a document across the table. Sign this, he says coldly, or you're done. Chasik looks at the paper, presses his thumb on it, and walks out. Moments later, someone mocks him from behind. Chasik turns and slaps him hard across the face. He grabs the man by the hair, slams his head into the table and says, learn how to respect people. Li Guangwan's voice returns. Do you know why people fear Chasik? The security chief answers, because he doesn't stop. He'll kill and still kill again. He doesn't care how much blood it takes. Once he decides someone's his enemy, he doesn't stop until they're gone. A man in a white shirt steps out of an elevator, but soon that white turns red. He picks up his phone. Li Bongwan's voice crackles through. Start the job. Even if someone dies, finish it. And with that, chaos begins. Dozens of armed men charge toward Chasik. One lunges with a knife. Chasik dodges, stabs him in the shoulder, and twists. The man screams as Chasik kicks him down. More attackers workers surround him, but Chasik moves like lightning. Every strike clean, precise, merciless. Somewhere else, Bangwon's men whisper, "Boss, we're outnumbered." Bangwon replies coldly, "Wars aren't won by numbers, but by strategy." The battle spreads through the building. Blood on the walls, bodies hitting the floor, men fighting for money, for fear, for survival. One man screams, "What is he? A man or a demon?" Another yells, "Kill him and earn 10 billion. But no one moves. They've all seen what Chasik can do. Suddenly, team leader Mansu appears, blocking a blade meant for Chasik. He shouts, "Stop this. Do you really think money's worth dying for? Look around, half of you are already dead." But greed twists the crowd again. Someone shouts back, "You just want the money for yourself." And the madness explodes all over again. Steel clashes, screams echo. No one knows who's the enemy anymore. Chasik runs toward the stairwell, a narrow space where they can't surround him. He grips his knife tight. The killers rush in one by one. He slashes, he stabs, he breaks bones. Blood spills everywhere. The stairs become rivers of red. Chasik mutters under his breath. When people lose everything, they become worse than animals. One terrified man begs, "Please, spare us." Chasik looks at him, ice cold. "If you want to live, then kill me. Take your money. Otherwise," he raises the knife. "Die like the rest." Silence. No one moves. They all back away slowly, dropping their weapons. Only the sound of dripping blood remains. Chasik stands alone, his white shirt now crimson. He whispers, "My life turned red. Now I'll paint theirs the same." The camera pulls back, showing the floor filled with bodies. Morning light filled the kitchen. Minju smiled softly, but something felt wrong, like she'd never see him again. Chasik sat down quietly. Minju told him she was going to the doctor for some baby tests and would stop by her mom's afterward. She told him not to worry, but deep inside, Chasik felt uneasy. Then a dark voice whispered in his head, "Do you really think you can live in peace? You're a killer. Your wife died because of your sins. Your white shirt is now red." Chasik froze. The words echoed through his mind. He whispered to himself, "It's all my fault." Outside, Mansa found him standing alone. "Hey, wake up. Bangwon's men are on the move. If you get the chance, finish it." Chasik just nodded. His silence said everything. The scene shifted to chaos. Monkey Man sprinted forward, attacking fast, but an old fighter named Sunbae blocked him with sharp taekwondo moves. Even at his age, Sunbae's strikes were powerful. The building filled with fighters from both sides, screams, gunfire, blades. On the upper floor, manager Seo killed anyone who ran. Then Chasik appeared. They clashed, steel against steel. Seo attacked again and again, but Chasik dodged every strike. With one final move, Chasik cut him down. The fight was over. At the top floor, Chairman Lee's guards panicked. "Sir, our men are losing. One of our top fighters, Monkey, has also been defeated." "Yeah, his name is Monkey. I think the writer couldn't come up with a name, then suddenly saw a monkey, and that's how he found it. I was just reading it casually as Monkeys, but now I get it, his actual name is Monkeys." "Seriously? Alright, back to the story." After finishing manager Sao, then the door opened. Chasik walked in, blood on his clothes, but calm as ever. "I told you not to send so many men," he said. "They're all gone." And as the room fell silent, he added, "Now it's just us." Darkness presses in around Chairman Lee as his men wait, breath held. The room hums with one question: act now or lose the chance. A phone slides across the table, a voice from the top cuts through the silence. A single message, one call, and memories slam back. Years earlier, we see Chairman Lee and Chasik having a private conversation. "I'm not going to tell you what they were talking about, it's not important right now." After that, Chasik steps out of the car, and Chairman Lee drives off to another location. There, we see Bangwon, badly injured. Obviously, this was all done by Chairman Lee. Bangwon, struggling to speak, says, "Lee, what do you think you're doing? If father finds out about this, you're finished immediately." Chairman Lee replies calmly, "Yes, father was very fond of you, his eldest son. If he finds out, there'll be a huge commotion. But tell me, do you really think father is still alive in this situation?" Bangwon gasps, "That can't be. You couldn't have done this alone. Who helped you? Who put these ideas in your head?" Lee smirks and says, "The Neville family chose our Doosan Construction for their Korea branch. You and father rejected their offer, remember? That's why they came to me. They promised to make me chairman." He steps closer and continues, "You've had it good your whole life. You've never known what it feels like to be ignored. From now on, I'll make sure you experience that for the rest of your life." Then, Lee turns to his man and orders coldly, "Cut his legs." As his man moves in, Lee gives a devilish grin, though honestly, it doesn't look scary at all. It looks more like a frog trying to smile. Back to the present. Chasik looks at Chairman Lee and asks, "Why did you do this?" Lee replies, "Because I was afraid. If you had joined another company, it would have been a huge loss for me." Chasik's anger grows, but he stays silent, still listening to what Lee has to say. Outside, the morning sun here is calm. People move on, unaware, busy with their lives. They don't see the darker world beneath this light. In that shadow, human life means nothing. It took me 50 years to understand why. Do you know what that nameplate really means? I did, and as a kid I was obsessed. My father loved it. That nameplate was power. Back then our little gang collected money and favors. We did work for pay, and political forces made us grow. A killer crew became a company. A company became a kingdom. By 17 I had a knife and a job. Power brought my father's greed, not his love. He ignored me. I learned the ugly equation: more power, more peace for those who hold it. So I did whatever it took. Now watch. Chairman Lee uses that nameplate like sunlight, blinding Chasik, and lunges with a knife. Chasik dodges. They clash. Mansu wants to help. Sunbeam stops him. Chasik knocks the blade away, almost finishes Lee, until Lee produces another knife. Chasik slashes Lee, but the vest stops the blade. Lee kicks him away, mocks him, then charges. Chasik stabs Lee's leg. They trade blows, cuts, blocks, blood. Lee realizes he might die. Panic floods him. Betrayed by his men, surrounded by enemies, he begs, bargaining with money. The head of security answers with cold truth: money can't fix everything. Old promises were broken. Anger and revenge surface. Chasehook calls Lee out. "You took what I loved. Blood for blood." Chaos erupts. Then Chasehook drives a knife into Lee's throat. Lee's life flashes: his lonely childhood, the hunger for power, all the sacrifices. He thought power would heal him. Instead it destroyed everything. Now the darkness he built has turned his life red. Chasik spits, "You had no right. I'm coming for you." A shoe drags across wet concrete. A man curses under his breath, "Get it up now." They're not talking about business. They're talking about the corpse. Two workers argue over timing and who's coming. Tempers snap when one admits the body is only causing trouble. Hands find hair, they lift. Whatever this was supposed to be, it's already gone sideways. The head of security appears, shoves a man aside, and takes control. He hauls the dead body, Chairman Lee, onto his shoulder and says, "Flat, I'll handle this." No waiting, no witnesses. Cut to a wounded man moving slow down a hallway. Colleagues swarm, calling him savior, because the original chairman's murder has been avenged and an entire Neville branch in Korea was erased. Praise comes with a warning: the Nevilles have money and reach. They'll come for anyone tied to tonight. He says nothing. They insist he rest. Friends split up, some to the doctor, one to escort him home. Mansa snaps at him for taking so many risks, then they leave. Elsewhere, two men argue in a private office. Lee preached honesty but lived otherwise. Now the company is unsteady. Biljo decides to watch over Master Lee Bon. The company could collapse. They debate taking help from dangerous allies. Lee Bon, hollowed by loss, says he has nothing left to lose and will wait for the Nevilles' next move. Then his men start eliminating threats. The news spreads fast. Chairman Lee of Dosan dead. Branches buzz. In London Stone Hotel, we see a baddie. I can feel the spiritual pressure over here. I think I found a reason to continue this series, but I also need your response to know that you're enjoying this series. Tell me in the comments if I should continue this series or not. This baddie hears about the news of what Red Shirt did and smiles thinly. "Red Shirt, you wiped out the whole branch. Interesting." At the Neville family leaders gathering, everyone hears about what Chasik did. The Neville Korean branch has collapsed. One of them says, "We can't just stand by. Chasik has to pay for this." Then a long-haired leader speaks calmly. "Call the hounds," he says. "Tell them they're about to meet their old friend." And with that, this video ends here. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit like, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you never miss the next story. And for extra support, tap that new hype button. It helps this channel grow and brings even more fans into our community. Okay, see you in the next video. Till then.